Welcome in. It's the point after. Jason Lloyd from The Athletic joins us. Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com also with us tonight on this Monday night. Where to begin? I think the lesson has to be learned at some point by this football team, not only from this year, but from past years. Mary Kay, I'll begin with you. When you leave points out there on the field, they usually come back and haunt you at the end of the game. And I think that's what happened yesterday. There were points left out on the field, and at the end of the game, the Browns end up losing.
Well, it certainly does not help not to score the points that you want to score in the first half of the game. But to be really super honest with you, Jimmy, I don't have as much of a problem with Kevin Stefanski going for that touchdown on 4th and 3 from the 4 as a lot of other people do. I really just don't think that that was the reason that they lost the game. It didn't help matters, but they were still tied 10-10 at halftime. They still had plenty of opportunities to win that football game, and so many other things went wrong.
All right, I'm going to declare I am in the camp that I would have taken the points. You don't have Myles Garrett. You don't have Jadeveon Clowney. You know you're going to have to get points. You're on the road. Okay, you also know that they're going to get the ball at the second half. All of those things that are now happening, to me, you take the points.
It's 4th and 3 from the 4. This isn't 4th and 1. If it's 4th and 1, go for it. If it's 4th and 2, go for it. 4th and 3 is a different matter entirely. If you play the analytic books of what do you do? The book says it's a coin toss whether you kick or go for it. I kick. I like the lead, especially first possession of the game. 3-0. You take an early lead. You're on the road. I take the points.
All right, Mary Kay, let's move on. Let's talk about the other red zone problems that they have, because they were in there a couple of times. They end up throwing 3 times one time. They didn't get in another time. They really had problems in the red zone. What gives there? Is it Brissett? Are the plays a problem? Is it just they don't have someone showing themselves open to him to make a play?
Well, you're right. 1 for 3 in the red zone is not going to cut it. And again, in this game, I think they believed that it was going to be a shootout and they were going to need every single point that they could get in this game. Certainly 1 for 3 in the red zone is really bad. And I think that Jacoby Brissett, for the most part, in my mind, he was a little off yesterday. He was not connecting with Amari Cooper, who had only 1 catch for 9 yards. So hard to believe after 2 straight 100-yard games. But I just think there was just a little bit of Jacoby missing some guys. I mean, there was that 1 3rd and 7 where he missed Harrison Bryant wide on a play that ended up resulting in the game-winning field goal for the Falcons. So I just don't think he had his best game yesterday.
All right, what about the red zone? Where are you?
I really didn't like the rollout of Jacoby at the goal line. It was the hold. It was the play that became a hold on Wyatt Teller. Now you're 2nd and goal from the 11,
right? And
that changes everything. Now you're really in a bind. But you got Nick Chubb. Jacoby Brissett is great on 1-yard dives. He's pretty much unstoppable at this point in the year when you got 2 big guards in front of him. Don't get too fancy. Just run the ball. Just run it 3 times if you have to. Between Nick Chubb and Jacoby Brissett, somebody's going to get you that yard you need.
Yeah, Mary Kay. It seems as though the losses have the same look to them. Okay, and I'm not just talking about yesterday and the Jets game, which was, I mean, that's a movie unto itself, but even the losses in some other years. And to me, until the Browns get over this real problem they have with being able to close out a game, keep an opponent down when they have them down, take advantage of the opportunity that they have to build on a lead, add on to the lead, or come up with a big defensive play. Till they do that, I think we're going to be like a 500 team.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you on that. I think so much of it is how you finish the game, not how you start the game quite as much. I mean, the Ravens had a 23 lead on the Bills yesterday, but they couldn't finish the game. So it's just more important how you end up. I mean, these games all come down to a field goal or a touchdown on maybe the last play of the game. They really blew it on that 2-minute drive at the end. I mean, that was just a disaster. All they needed to do was get 35 yards to get Cade York to the 40, and they at least can tie the football game. And they just couldn't do that, and they really have to work on being able to close.
Brissett looked a little shaky on the last drive, didn't he?
Well, this is who he is. And when you're in gotta-have-it moments, which they've now had 2, they've had 3 to be fair. Carolina was a gotta-have-it moment from the quarterback.
Very much so, yeah.
And he got some help in the Carolina game with the blow to the head. It was a 15-yard penalty. But he got him in position. They got the 58-yard kick, and they get the win. They were in a gotta-have-it moment against the Jets. He threw an interception. They were in a gotta-have-it moment yesterday. He takes the sack, and then he throws the interception. I knew they were a 500 team when the suspension was raised to 11 games. That told me if you're going with Jacoby Brissett as your quarterback and you're not trying to upgrade that spot, you're a 500 team. I'm not at all surprised they're 2-2. I thought they'd be 2-2. I think they'll probably be 5-6, 6-5, something like that when Deshaun's able to come back.
Mary Kate, you agree? Is this what we have in Brissett?
I think so. I think it's going to be very up and down like this. I thought he had 2 really good games right before this. Carolina, not so good. I thought he missed Dearness Johnson wide open on that pick at the end of the game where he went deep for David Bell into triple coverage there. So I thought that was kind of a poor decision. So I think this is kind of what they're going to get. And they plan to rely on the other strengths of their football team. The defense, which has been a little shaky, especially without Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, and their running game, which has been great.
All right, real quickly from the two of you, here we go. Okay, we thought the first 4 games were very, very winnable. Maybe they should be 4-0. They should at least be 3-1. Chargers, Patriots, Bengals, at Baltimore, Buccaneers. Here we go. Where are they?
They're probably going to be 3-2 in that 5-game stretch. The
You
Chargers,
think they win 3 of those?
Maybe 2 and 3.
Okay.
Because games come down to such small little things can twist and turn things. The Bengals don't look like the Bengals of a Super Bowl team from a year ago. The Ravens, Mary Kay already mentioned, they've blown big leads now twice against the Bills and the Dolphins. They blew big leads.
And the Patriots are a mess at
Patriots are a wreck at quarterback, and the Chargers have had a lot of injuries, and Justin Herbert's banged up. So there's some winnable games in there.
Mary Kay, go ahead, take it. Here we go. This is the tough part of the schedule.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have the second toughest schedule the rest of the way. They just came out of the easiest part of their schedule, which was about, I think, 4th easiest in the NFL. So it's going to get really, really hard from here, and they have to do the best they possibly can to try to hand at least 5 victories over to Deshaun Watson.
Okay, after 4 games, a couple of years ago, if they were 2-2, we're throwing a parade.
It's a parade,
okay?
yeah.
Not now. They're too talented. They're 2-2. I don't know. That's the way I look at them. Hey, Mary Kay, I don't look at you that way. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Do you look at me that way?
I don't know.
Sometimes.
Not the full. All right, we'll see you both next week after the Chargers come to town. And with that, we remind you, keep your Browns questions coming for tomorrow night's Hey Jimmy segment. Text them to the phrase Hey Jimmy, 216-344-3300. It is a text, not a telephone call. Include your name and where you're writing to us from. I'll answer your questions tomorrow night.